Disclaimer, this is for adult audiences only. I can't stress that enough. If there's any minors, I know my replays don't get nearly as many views, which I understand. I don't watch a lot of lives on the replay either. But I really would like to keep this adult audiences only. I'm going to keep saying that. And this is for people who have experienced a few decades of life, ideally. Not that everybody can't learn from this, but I'm just going to be blunt. And I really appreciate it if this is also my thoughts, commentary, and opinions only. We're here to chat like around the kitchen table because we're all friends here. You're allowed to disagree, just do it respectfully. I really do appreciate differing opinions in the chat. But this is something that I spent a lot of time rewriting the script. I did go live about this the other night and I misspelled her name in the title, and my script is much better for it tonight. So if you did happen to catch that, I suggest watching this if it interested you at all. So, once again, disclaimer adult audiences only, please. And these are my thoughts, commentary, opinion. Hey, Anna, how are you doing? Tell me how you're doing. Another alleged online expert has been exposed for possibly lying about her credentials as well as displaying unhinged behavior several times. Sadia Khan is an online influencer who has called herself many titles over the years, including a dating coach and a psychologist and masculinity coach. She definitely leans towards men, and it's clear most of her clients are men. It's not surprising. If she wasn't what I think most people would consider a devastatingly beautiful woman, speaking of which, my lighting is like really crap right now. And if she didn't have that British accent, I don't think she would have gotten away with her poor behavior as long as she did, because it's been well documented. There's like creators, at least one YouTuber that made content about her. This one guy, his channel, his name is Goob. He pointed out that she uses body filters. And this is a woman who claims the truth is important. And she harps on the truth, the truth, the truth, the truth a lot. But she will retaliate, and, I mean, it's like harassment. I'm not even gonna say allegedly. When you see the way she treats people who just make a comment she doesn't like, she will write them dozens of times. She will call them whatever kind of messenger you can call people on. I don't use Instagram or any of that, and it's okay, I'm getting ahead of myself from my script. For years, she has harassed people online when they dare to disagree with or criticize her. How are you doing, Yoder? Hey, Jay Hardy, how are you doing? I'm going to chat definitely when I'm done with the script. I have kind of a long script, but I want to get through it. Recently, things came to a head when a phone call recording was put out of Sadia talking to a woman whose fiance she had been sleeping with. She is boasting about being the side chick, even going so far as to say that she could suck his D word anytime she wanted to this woman about the woman's fiance. She admitted on an ABBA and Preach video. ABBA from ABBA and Preach interviewed her, and I mean, I guess she knew she couldn't deny it, or she probably would have, in my opinion, but she didn't deny it. She said that was her voice on that recording. If you haven't heard it, if you're confused about why this is trashy behavior, you're most likely not aware of Sadia and her background, what she claims to be. On her YouTube, her channel is called Sadia Psychology. She charges $8,000 an hour for coaching, and she lives in Dubai. I think like these are two facts most of us grown people with life experience need to hear to know what this woman is probably doing. She charges $8,000 an hour for coaching, and she lives in Dubai. Okay, enough said. We had the saying in our high school. Enough said. That's what I get. So most of her content is her pointing out common experiences among men and women. Rarely does she give any working solutions in true red pill fashion. She's just stirring the pot. She's playing up the hurt feelings and frustrations of others and trying to hook them in, reel them in, mostly men once again, and then charge them $8,000 an hour for her coaching sessions. In my opinion, she does this by insinuating she's intellectual and placating to stagnant minded men that are sex obsessed because she knows what she's doing. Okay. She knows what she's doing. And her attitude shows she hasn't had to. make the self improvements that most of us do when we're not like walking around looking like a 10 out of 10 or what most people would consider. I know I'm going to call her things like that, and there's going to be somebody that's like, I don't think she's that pretty because beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? Hi, HK, how are you? How is everybody doing tonight? Let me know how you're doing, Anna. I want to know how you're doing. So Sadia talks a lot about submission, and I don't think it's a bad thing to talk about submission in relationships, but it does need to be reciprocal in a healthy relationship. It will go both ways. So of course, Sadia really focuses on submitting to the man and how like, and this is very, very it's common in red pill ideology to make it seem like, and I do agree to a very small certain extent. A woman wants a man that is worthy of submitting to, that she can submit to, that she can trust. That at the end of the day, after whatever she has on her plate, I just went from working full time to being a stay-at-home parent again, and I can honestly say, like, I forgot how hard being a stay-at-home parent is and how constant it is. Whatever that woman is doing with her life, if she is keeping busy, like, oh, hold on. Oh goodness gracious. Okay, I appreciate that Yoder in HK, whoever is modding. I'm sorry, I'm gonna try really hard to stay on the script. Uh, so she talks about submission in a one-sided way. She is Muslim, which does influence her a lot. I'm not saying that it influences me in my opinion of her, but it obviously influences her. And I just saw a few of her shorts where she like brought it up in a way that she's trying to seem like she's better, her culture is better than other people's. And I wouldn't assume this about all Muslims. I would never look at a Muslim and be like, oh, you're going to try to scam me just because you are Muslim. But it is important to know that some think it's okay to deceive non-believers, and like this is just like okay to them. And with somebody with her background doing what she is doing, I think it might be safe to assume she's one of those. But once again, I wouldn't put that on every single Muslim. I really don't think they all think like that. She says she's married now, and nobody said this, and I just wanted to say it real quick. There's these like temporary Muslim marriages. It could be a religious thing, basically, because it's just kind of weird. Like her back, she just comes out of nowhere. She has like no background, nothing online for her before she came into her online stardom. It's kind of odd. It makes me wonder if she didn't have in my opinion, a rich sugar daddy that helped her erase her freaking footprints off the internet. I don't know. That's my opinion, allegedly, supposedly, all that jazz. So she says she's married. Sadia speaks on being a high value woman and what a high value man is. She claims she can help people have long lasting relationships. And this high value woman or man concept is that comes from the red pill space, this manosphere, this online podcast, dating sphere. It's such a horrible thing to put on young people, especially. It's like an amalgamation of all the things that are bad about social media. It just concentrates on tangible, material things. It's like you have to, as a man, you have to be a certain height, you have to make a certain income. And like what I feel like I've gotten from the hurt people in red pill spaces, particularly men, is that like they're tired of being assumed to have to provide. They don't appreciate that so many women have this like inherent worth just being a woman, and then they have to like prove themselves and work extra hard at attaining things that they feel like just come easily to all pretty women because they have adult mediafied brains, and they don't seem to understand that most women in that field of work are making nothing and taking their dignity away for the rest of their lives. Like it's really not worth it in my opinion, and that it says everything about sex work themselves, not the sex workers, because I don't consider that work. And I'll get into that more when we're talking about this woman that charges $8,000 an hour for coaching. It's too much. My knuckles are going to get sore by the end of this. The high value woman man thing needs to go. It says everything whenever they're talking about high value or woman man, it's like when she does bring up the things that aren't the material, shallow aspects of life, it's things that she's definitely not. She has no integrity. She has no self control. And when she's talking about a high value woman, it's one that, can keep control of herself for sure. She paints a picture that one has to attain the worth and then prove it to the world through material things. I'm sorry, excuse me. Claudia said she would be a drug dealer in a different life because she has no respect for the law. This woman said that. Like, of course, she's out there faking certificates and degrees. She said she has no respect for the law. and a poor work ethic. Therefore, in another life, she would be a drug dealer. What kind of actual psychologist would say something like this? Like, besides maybe I wanna say, like, even, like, kitchen table talk with a friend, that's so crazy she's on there. Once again, I don't think she could get away with this if she wasn't a pretty woman, especially with a British accent. I really don't. She always says the truth is important to her, but to say that you disrespect the law, like, what kind of ethical behavior could be expected from somebody like that? It reminds me very much of that, like, "I'm a brat" mentality, like, when grown women call themselves brats and stuff like that and think it's cute. And this is from somebody who's charging so much money to supposedly help other people better themselves. And once again, she uses body filters among lying about credentials. Dr. Taylor Barrows here on YouTube, that's spelled Barrows. Because when you look up what Barrows is usually spelled as, you're not going to find her. She did a great deep dive initially. She was the first one that I found who really exposed what is going on with Sadia's credentials and why they are obviously probably fake. Abbott and Preach interviewed her. This video came out last night, I believe, or early this morning, and it's safe to say that she is being deceitful, especially when you put the two and two together. Sadia told Abbott that she never got this DHA license because she was about ready to, but then her YouTube or her online fame started then I'm sorry, her online career started then. And then she just decided not to get the DHA license. But there's emails out there where she's emailing somebody 2 years ago in 2023 talking about how here's my DHA license. Like she is faking these things. And there was a master's degree on her website that she has since taken down. I guess she didn't know about the Wayback Machine because this is also on Abbott and Preach's video from the last 24 hours. And on her site, when she had the master's degree, there was no date. There's always a date on college degrees. There was no date on it. And plus, right below or above where her name was printed, there was like a small paragraph of blurry print. It was obviously photoshopped. Okay. I don't even think I have to say allegedly or supposedly, but I guess I should. She has no shame, and Abba said it well. She crisscrosses. That's what he called it. She crisscrosses information. When asked about one degree of certification, she just starts talking about another. And it reminds me of this old movie, Paper Moon, or this girl and this guy that she thought was her dad, or was he her real biological dad? After her mom passes away, this con artist comes through town, like thinks it's his daughter, and he teaches her how to be a con artist with him. And it's like there's this one thing she does a lot when people are making change when she's checking out at a store and she like confuses them. She's like, "Oh, okay, if I give you this back, will you give me like two wants?" And then and she goes back and forth and back and forth and she just confuses them. This is what Sadia is trying to do with people, and she does it when people are interviewing her. It's kind of annoying. She will like, you know what? I just realized I don't have the light above my head turned on. I think maybe the lighting will look better if I turn that on, but I'm gonna keep talking. She does this really annoying thing where she'll like ask the interviewer questions, but in my opinion, it's excessive. It's like it's cool to be like, into the conversation with somebody else so much that like you're asking them questions, but she does it in a way, in my opinion, to like take control, and I couldn't imagine her doing these $8,000 an hour coaching sessions and like not sitting there and like going in circular questions, asking people like a question and then they answer it. And then she's like going to ask them another question because um, it's just common with con artists. They know how to be slick like that. And in my opinion, that's what she's doing. I'm over halfway done with my notes, so everybody knows. She has credentials from an online school that one can purchase degrees and certifications from. And a lot of us good hearted, morally ethical, grounded people are aware of how common this is. You guys don't understand. There's people out there, I hate to say it, but there's people out there we trust with things like mental health that have completely breeze through college, having people write all their major papers and even a thesis at the end of their PhD for them. It happens. There's people out there writing people's college papers. So you're basically, if you're good enough at rote memorization to like test well enough, you can get through college if you have enough money. And especially a lot of these, like just imagine, it makes me sick to think about. One degree had a dean on it who wasn't even working there the year the supposed degree was from. And this is something that Dr. Taylor Burrows found out during her sit down with Abba. Sadia says she believes that the backlash is because she's brown skinned. Which was so great. She said that to a black man because thankfully Abba was like, "No, there's like plenty of people in this dating space online that they just don't claim to be a psychologist or something like that." And people are fine with that. People are fine with you not being like a expert when it comes to online influencers and experts, right? Sorry, I'm not in the chat that much, you guys. I am about to be on my last page. And mental health professionals have ethics and codes of conduct to follow. Sadia admitted that the recording was her, as I already said. And when Abba asked about how she treats people poorly so often, she said, in general, just because somebody's a surgeon doesn't mean that outside of their work they have to cut bodies open. That was a quote. She literally said that word for word. I wrote that down as a quote. In general, just because somebody is a surgeon doesn't mean that outside of their work they have to cut bodies open. But then after that, she does go on to say that, like, she acknowledges she has a short temper. She doesn't say she has to work on it. It's like, tee I'm a pretty, she knows she can get away with it because she has for this long, right? She's 30 something years old. This is like her whole life, she's gotten away with it. And I'm going to explain to you guys exactly what my opinion is very soon. As somebody who has a past that I don't think is crazily dissimilar to her, I just chose not to keep yeah. Okay. Sadia claims she will help men master themselves and relationships. How can anyone teach anyone who hasn't even mastered themselves? In an interview, oh, I already said that. She like asks the interviewer questions so much. It's just like that shit drives me crazy. Jungian psychology is something that I don't even want to say promote. I just like talk a lot about on my channel because I really do believe like between that and cognitive behavioral therapy, so many people could be helped. So many people could live better lives with just a little bit of time spent on these things. We have so many online resources, so many online supports. And but to help lead people to help themselves wouldn't make you $8,000 an hour, right, Sadia? Mostly male clients, $8,000 an hour. Beautiful woman in Dubai. You do the math. I mean, it's like it just like tells on itself, right? She brings it on herself too. So many professional women fight their whole lives trying to be taken seriously, especially when they are devastatingly beautiful, especially when everybody and their brother looks at them and they are like, oh my gosh, taken aback by their beauty. Some women can't help it. Some women have bodies that no matter what they do, their body is gonna body, like I get that. But like there's a time and a place. You don't have to wear skin tight clothing. And as a Muslim woman, you yourself know what it means to dress modestly. And that means not to show the shape of your body the way that you do in like literal skin tight clothing. Like every single, she does cover up her cleavage, it seems like. Like I think she thinks that's her being modest, like having everything up to here, but it's literally always skin tight. And she has a nice body. But why do you have to like go even further, harm the minds of particularly young women? But you're also warping men's minds too when you're doing this shit with the body filters and like creating an even more unattainable beauty standard. And I feel strongly that plastic surgery has been too mainstream. I don't want anybody to feel bad about like something they had done, especially as a really young person, especially if you were really young, especially if it was something that you felt like what made you like was like a physical anomaly that like you really feel like improved your life and you went and fixed it. It's like these women that have like so much work done. And in my opinion, it's more than her nose. And I'm not just saying this, I've been very honest. Like, yeah, my whole life I had people say stuff about my nose. And just now in my late 30s, I've really become sincerely comfortable. Like nobody could hurt my feelings. I would love to be able to get a little bit of like tweaking done. I won't lie, but I wouldn't change my nose. I wouldn't make my nose look like a Barbie nose. I wouldn't risk my nose collapsing in itself in old age. It's just like the women that have those beautiful, cute little petite noses, like that's for them, like they were meant to have that. God gave that to them. And women that have ethnic noses, it's really sad. And it's just like Bella Hadid, or I'm sorry. Yeah, Bella Hadid said, she felt bad. Like, she looked at her nose and saw her ancestors, and now when she looks in the mirror, she doesn't see that anymore. And then I see a woman, beautiful Pakistani woman like Sadia Khan. I just wonder what she's actually supposed to look like. And I feel bad because I'm like, okay, what are the off chance that really is her nose? It's not her nose, in my opinion, because if it was, she would prove everybody wrong by now. She'd be like, look, this is me as a child, teenager. I always had this little itty bitty, teeny tiny nose. But it shows a lot about her own self-worth and self-esteem, which is the psychology of the side chick we're getting ready to get into at the very end. I just have had a lot of people tell me that I should get a nose job, that I would be prettier if I got a nose job, especially rich men. Like everybody, literally everybody. It was like I had people offer to pay for a nose job and a boob job. That's what you get when you live in Miami and you like, fuck around and find out. So until she shows some old pictures, I'm going to assume that she's had plastic surgery, and it's really none of my business. And I think it should be a case by case basis. I'm just so tired of how it's normalized. And I feel really badly, especially for young women nowadays. I wouldn't look up to anybody with a lot of work. Barely anybody nowadays can afford good work, let alone maintenance. A lot of women, they don't understand. Like these women that get like the most beautiful work done, like Lindsay Lohan, she undeniably like that is good work, right? But like that is so unattainable for most of us. And we see those examples of like top-notch cosmetic surgery. It is such an art. It is so precise. And like it is just like people that can do like the finesse nose jobs, that's what I see. And I'm like, wow, like those people are literal artists. But to take every single woman with, any nose that's like not a Barbie doll nose and like turn it into that, it just makes me sad. And we used to go from I want this to look like that to they come in with pictures of other people like give me her nose. And this is a result of social media. It is brain war. It is changing women's brains, men too, boys too, but women. Oh gosh, it's scary, and I think she's an example of somebody who's stunted in her growth because of all the attention and dopamine rushes she gets from the likes on social media. I wouldn't want to be as pretty as Sadia Khan. Honestly, I wouldn't. I grow out my white hair on like I like being older. I like getting less attention in that way. But I am also happily married for 15 years and I love my husband so much. He's the absolute only person on this earth I really care about being attractive to. Like, of course, I want to come off is my best. You feel best when you represent yourself. Well, but I really don't care. That's why I can let trolls roll off my back as the only person that I sincerely care about. I can tell by looking into his eyes how he feels about me, and he can feel it too. So, and that's all that matters to me. And I wish that for everybody. And less people are going to have that, the more people look up to people like her and these online podcasters that like give no real working solutions, just sit there and point, oh, yeah, this is happening a lot. And, like there's a lot of women that get a lot of attention off online pictures and it ends up like warping their brains and making them unsatisfied with their partner and the attention he's giving her. It's never enough. Well, she looks in there projecting, talking about herself, but never really says. And I mean, she might go a tiny bit into the reason why, but I've never seen her say anything about like an actual solution or like this is how we work towards better, anything at all like that. Okay. Claudia has high self-esteem and low self-worth. They're alike with an exception. Self-esteem is a person's overall self-worth based on their experiences, accolades, everything about them. Self-worth is a person's overall self-worth, which they feel of themselves regardless of any outside factors, regardless of any experiences. And this is what, in my opinion, social media is destroying from a young age in women. And when there's a woman like Sadia who could have it all if she wanted to, I mean, she seems smart, whatever her certifications and credentials are. She's beautiful by most people's standards. Why couldn't she be something more than a side chick to somebody, And this is okay, I'm sorry. Sadia said men can be cruel to beautiful women because they're rejecting the woman before she can reject him. But in my opinion, she creates the same dynamics. And this is the insecurities of somebody who's always going to be pushing away anything real. At the same time, like that's why somebody would have to be that broken to get off on the fact that she is a side chick to hear her talk to that other woman and say, "I can suck his D whenever I want," and there's been times you were with him in social settings and he called me afterwards. That's part of it. Like, most of us, we wouldn't have it in us. If you know a woman who's ever done that, like, unless she was, like, 16 years old, I would say that that might not be a monogamous person, and, like, they could always change and heal, and I wanna point the finger at, like, who hurt you, Like, maybe something happened to her, she was treated badly by so many men, but at the same time, it's like, no, she's a whole grown adult. She will use the excuse of being brown, Pakistani. She insinuated some kind of honor offing or harm from her brother and father to ABBA on she's like, like, they can't know about like, "What? You live in Dubai charging men $8,000 an hour, you wear skin-tight clothing, like, if you haven't dishonored them yet, like, come on, girl." That was crazy, and I think if anybody else mentioned that the way that she did, I'm sorry, I can't remember exactly what she said, but she's like, "I could get in big trouble for this, with my brother and my dad." If anybody else said that, if anybody else was like, "Oh, what about her brother or dad, like, doing something to her?" She'd be like, "Oh my god, you're just saying that because I'm a brown Pakistani Muslim girl." Like, that's the kind of people I can't. Oh, thank you, Jay Hardy. I appreciate you so much. I'm almost done with my notes. I'm gonna get in the chat. Thank you, Jay Hardy. Okay, I am really close to being done. So, self-esteem is a person's overall self-worth based on their experiences, everything. Self-worth is a person's overall self-worth, which they feel of themselves inherently, regardless of anything going on. It's something you really need to have instilled in yourself early on. Not that you can't do it yourself as an adult as well. But I think that this explains a lot of women and you might think that she is confident. She might talk a big game. She might dress very confidently. But a lot of the people that you think are the most confident, it's a narcissistic thing. Like they project so much. They're actually the most insecure people. And the people that seek so much attention too, that's just a huge red flag. I don't think women should ever be leading men. And Not ever, but, when it comes to dating, romantic relationships, making a man better, making sure a man can have long-lasting relationships, I don't think an unmarried woman and once again, she called herself married, but it's just weird. Everything's so loosey-goosey with her life. If she had more of a I don't have much online myself because 'cause I've been really low-key with social media. I was a stay-at-home mom for years who decided to keep my kids off the internet over a decade ago because it just didn't feel right, like, documenting them and watching these other people's kids grow up and not really having much to do with them. It just felt like voyeurism or something. Like I didn't like Facebook. And this woman, though, clearly she's an attention seeker. Clearly she knows she's beautiful. She hasn't had children yet, which is fine. But don't tell me like there should be more pictures of her out there, in my opinion. She just like jumps into like online spaces and YouTube and go on making the circuits on all these podcasts. But before then, she had nothing to do with any of it. That's really weird and bizarre, and she's hooking up with, like, the richest of the richest, and I'm gonna say allegedly and supposedly so much, I'm gonna bother you guys right now, I'm sorry, but it's true. Um, allegedly, supposedly when I was 18 years old, I had a few what people called sugar daddies back then. It's a glorified term for prostitution. There's nothing sweet or sugary about it. There's like ever since then, this was like, 2005-ish. That's when the websites first started, I think was that year. Nothing good ever came out of it, except for it taught me a lot about male nature and the men that will pay for it will get what they think is like high class and the most beautiful women because they won't, one off the street isn't good enough for them. Those men will chew you up and spit you out. And if you don't keep up with them, play the game with them, and they're I see a lot of dynamics in her. I just see, in my opinion, her sitting with these men that have paid her crazy amounts of money, and then like juicing her up. Like, what did you want to do? You're so well spoken. Let's just buy you a degree. Let's go. My friend owns this website where you just buy them, And in my opinion, it just makes no sense. She just literally came up from out of nowhere. And there's been a few people that said that she was fired from a high school for faking her credentials in order to work at that high school. I have no idea if that's true or not. I have not seen any proof of that. That's just hearsay. But it just goes hand in hand. It's like somebody needs a form of income, you get through your 20s doing that, it's all good and fun, and then you realize you need to grow up a little because sex work is the most dangerous, most unsustainable form of work. None of these men are given 401ks. Well, I don't know, in Dubai, they might be giving their sugar babes 401ks in fucking Dubai. It's so sick, and it's like, so that person out there, like, just spreading herself around, that kind of woman going and telling men how he can find like a woman with integrity that isn't spreading herself around is a fucking joke. She lives in Dubai, charges men $8,000 an hour. She's really beautiful. She knows she has a nice body. She wears like the most form-fitting shit one could wear all the time, which is fine. That's her prerogative. But it's like, she knows what she's doing. She knows she uses her beauty and her looks. And that's like the number one thing I think a real professional woman wouldn't do. And that's why, like, she evaded these spaces and like people are, oh, like I would love to know exactly how many men paid $8,000 for like a phone consultation. Really took the bait. And like, in my opinion, it's money laundering, possibly. It is. It's like when these rich fucks sell like their crazy, stupid artwork. I'm sorry, it makes me mad. And it's like they'll sit around and talk about like, yeah, OnlyFans this and OnlyFans that. They pass women like her around, in my opinion. Models, not all of them, models, actresses. It happens with actors too, not just women, mostly women. The people that have nothing going on because they've already reached peak level financially, like, and they just need to challenge themselves some more. That's what these guys do. They they get a new girlfriend every few months or, add one to the collection. They have parties where they just, mingle with like their and the reason why I stopped, it's hard to talk about, but like I think it's important because like I think you can redeem yourself from it. And I nothing is online. I don't have to divulge any of this. I really like my poor husband, like probably would rather me not. I did ask him, is it okay with you if I talk about this? Because I want to help other people, especially young women. I can't stress that enough. My message is mostly for young women, but I think it could also benefit men and young men as well because people need to know like there's so many people that fall victim. Yes, you are falling victim when you're very young, not when you're as old as Sadia. She's old enough, she's been old enough to like get out of the game by now. Like somebody that literally comes up out of nowhere. I think she started online at like 2022 and just a matter of a few years. It's a really easy way to network. Like the Instagram, I've only heard about it. Once again, I don't have Instagram, but from just what I've heard, it's pretty obvious to me what's going on there when it comes to, these Insta models pages. And if you haven't heard about Dubai parties, you might not want to look it up. But there's plenty of content. Like there's these people, once again, you oppress yourself a lot. It can lead to some real warped, sick fetishes sometimes, not always. Of course, it's all about balance. Life is a balancing act for real. Okay. Yes, thank you again, Jay Hardy. I really appreciate that. Hi, Shaw to the T for hella money. Yeah, and it's sad that some women want that and aren't okay with it. And it's you're always going to be traded in for a newer model. Oh my gosh, they say that about marrying men. Or like try being like the girlfriend of one. Like, yeah, one time I said, I once again I feel like I'm like showing off, but I don't want to. I said to this man, I was like, "What if somebody said that to your daughter?" And he goes, "My daughter wouldn't be doing what you did." And I left, I turned around, I never went back because I really thought that I was getting like some kind of mutual respect that, I was mature for my age. And that's what like these men are predatory, they know what they're doing, and they're pathetic, and they're the lowest kind of men because if they really were whole and healthy themselves, they wouldn't be going after barely legal women. It's glorified PDF-philia is what's going on in our country. Oh my gosh, I heard of this case. It was so enraging where this guy admitted to raping a child. Like I think she was from the ages of 7 to 11, something like that, and he just got probation. Why does this happen? Why did Emmanuel Haro's dad only get like 18 months in jail after harming, brain damaging his daughter the way that he did? Like, it's because our society as a whole, I'm not talking about you and me, our society as a whole they don't care about kids. It's really unfortunate how many people in positions of power not only don't care about kids the way that they should, but they care about kids in a way that they shouldn't. And that's one reason why they stick up for other predators, in my opinion. It's really sick. Yes, it does go that deep. It does. I think if you're a grown man, okay, like I don't want to put an age on it, but you guys know what I'm saying, and you're attracted to 18-year-olds on a regular basis, that's a little warped. And I know it's been normalized. It's like been completely normalized, but yeah, there's a reason for that. I have no doubt that like for decades now they've been pushing the barely legal agenda, and then all these lawmakers want to lower the age of consent, like the ability to get married to like 12 in some cases. Oh my gosh. So I think I've aired my grievances on Sadia Khan. I don't know if I really made it obvious like how harmful this is. Like this is all so harmful on so many levels. It's unproductive, first of all. And it is it's going to make people not trust psychology, possibly. It's going to make people look at mental health in mental health therapists and actual real help. It is something um that it's not because of Sadia Khan. That's how serious it is when somebody claims to be a professional when they're not. Okay. Yeah, and so I'm 38 years old. It's been 20 years, but I do believe I had to get a hysterectomy because of high risk HPV I contracted when I was an 18-year-old idiot. And it was because my dad, whom I lived with at the time, I don't want to say talked me into it, but if I told you details of things that he said, he groomed me. And it's because of all the things that have taken place over the last several years, all the things that um online resources, like, I really realized, like, yeah, he did groom me. I was a child. I was 16, 17, barely 18 years old, and, he decided to quit his job. I paid my own back child support. I was paying my mom back child support for my sister and I from my dad to her. And with it, he made me feel so bad. Like it wasn't just grooming me for that specifically, but he would just make me feel bad about having to work. He would just like talk about how easy it is for women to like, get what they want from wealthy men. And I don't want to cry again on a lie, but like, trust me, I got nothing good besides learning about the true nature of like greedy, stunted rich men. It's like I could have learned that from people like Shallon Lester here on YouTube, And I'm not a huge fan of her, like the dark femininity shit. I think that's also very harmful. I don't like it. There's like one female coach, like dating relationship coach, that of course I'm not going to be able to pronounce her name, but like she's a married mother, and I actually think she does a really good job with her work. Margarita Nazarenko. If you look up like she does have some videos on dark femininity. That's why I thought of her. If you look up like attachment Margarita and or she's really big on attachment styles, and if you're anxiously attached, fixing that. I think a lot of women are. Oh, Mr. Carey, how are you doing? Yes, my dad always trusted his best male friends, and my Carrie Yoder said, "Oh, I'm sorry, Yoder." Yeah, Jay Hardy said I can relate, and I'm a 47-year-old guy. And it just weighs on my heart, like all the parents that do put too much on their kids, like it makes me really sad. But anyways, yeah. So if anybody has any questions, I really am an open book. Of course, like be respectful and don't be too like overt, but I think it's really important to expose the online influencers that these people, like some people don't have any other source of influence but the YouTube they listen to. They don't have books that they read. They don't have people, mentors in their life that talk to them at length. Everything's so shallow and superficial in general. And it's really unfortunate. It's the red pill space is something I'm fascinated with, and she popped up in it like 2 years ago or so. I remember seeing her on Pearl Davis's show, and, once again, being like, "Oh, she's so pretty," because like, with every really pretty woman, you just, like, immediately are, like, enamored with her beauty, and, it does cast a spell on you. It's funny. It's like as soon as I started doing more research, and of course, some people use like less attractive photos on purpose and edit them and everything. But I mean, just like seeing her sitting there talking, she became less and less pretty to me when I heard her say those vulgar words. And I think most people will agree with that, right? Like, no matter how beautiful the woman is, if she's a horrible person, it doesn't matter. And like most, my dad would tell me this thing: show me a pretty woman, show me a beautiful woman, and I'll show you a man that's sick of her shit. I asked my that wasn't what I consider grooming, okay, that wasn't part of it, but I, like, said that to my husband not too long ago, and he was like, where did you" and I was like, "My dad said that to me, of course." And he's like, "I've never heard that in my life." I'm like, "Oh my gosh," my dad was constantly filling my head with shit like that. He was constantly telling me that no man wants to eat rice and beans every day, meaning no man wants to be with the same woman every day. Like, he would say stuff like that to me for the good 2 years, especially the year ramping up to being 18. And oh my gosh, like right around the time I turned 18, if we had OnlyFans now, I'm certain of it. I'm certain he would have been like, hey, you can make a lot of money. Like, this is what like I would do if I was you. So maybe it's a lot of what I see in him in these red pill spaces. And he had a PhD, and he's one of those people that got into like the mental health stuff because he knows how messed up he is inside of his own head, which I'm not trying to put that on everybody in the mental health field. I think it's good. I think it can lend to have some empathy, and it helps them have compassion and empathy. So that's not a bad thing. But it's just also something to note, not like put them on a pedestal. And like when I mentioned Jordan Peterson the other night, and then I said something about benzos, that came off wrong. I didn't mean just the benzo stuff. There was a lot of stuff he did around the benzos thing, like that disappointed me and like made me realize like, yeah, you shouldn't put anybody on a pedestal, right? And we're all just human. We're all trying to find our way. um okay. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm glad that so that held it for review all on its own. You guys didn't hold it for review. Yes, it seems a personal inner turmoil you are dealing with, but that's why you are amazing, Yoder said. Oh, thank you. Hey, Kentucky Fresh, how are you? Do you have a YouTube channel? I'm interested in what your page is all about. I feel like you're like a farmer's market or something. But yeah, it is important to see the common threads in a lot of online drama. And like I said it before, I made these videos about this guy that eats raw meat. I know nobody watches those videos, but there's so many influencers popping up trying to use their name the way Sadia psychology and like slap their name on a protocol sometimes. Oh my gosh, if somebody puts their name on a protocol, like run, run. It's never good in my opinion. And not that she has done that, but the way that she's trying to brand herself, like she has the answers, like she can help you somehow. If I hadn't made it clear by now, like I definitely don't think that $8,000 an hour is like all coaching, dating coaching. And there's probably a lot of Insta models out there with like similar fees per hour for their modeling, and I'm sure that's what they put on their tax returns too, right? Well, the cash that they do claim, right? And like the same thing with the guys. Like, isn't it like $10,000 usually like the alert for like IRS and like tax stuff? It's just interesting to me. She chooses $8,000, and then it's like, um, that's also a big enough chunk of money, though. Like you might have to account for where that goes when you're giving it. I don't know. I don't walk around giving people $8,000 for anything. I think the last thing I got for $8,000 was a car, and even her last car, oh yeah, it was worth a little more. We buy cars with like over 200,000 miles on them because I'd rather have an older car that's built well that doesn't have a plastic oil pan. And I'm poor. I say that like I could afford a new car. Oh, thank you for saying I have pretty eyes, Rogers. I know enough Spanish to know that. Jay Hardy said that's why I'm moving to in real life. What do you mean by that, Jay Hardy? You're moving in real life? Kentucky Fresh, great, no channel, LOL, had this name for years. Idea taken from the Kentucky Proud logo. Yeah, I thought I recognized that logo. Yeah, that's nice. Well, I like it. I like your name. It's cute. Like a Ford Pinto, Mr. Carey said. No, like a 12-year-old Toyota or Honda or something like that. But yeah, I personally like so I have lots of baby pumpkins. I know I don't do a great job. I take so many videos that I haven't edited together yet, and like just 2 days of being a stay-at-home parent. I'm sorry for doing that into the microphone. It's, like, wearing me out. I'm exhausted. I forgot to take my melatonin before I got on here too. Great. But I just forgot how constant it is, from like 6:30 in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. And I'm not complaining. I feel very blessed to be able to stay at home, but yeah. Did you say toy yoder? Yoder? No, I didn't say toy yoder. But yeah, I feel like I went through my script a lot faster than I was expecting to. And like, did I really look at all 4 pages? And Aben Preaches video, if you're interested in this at all. Um, I mean, she's pretty much the same thing over and over. If you are tired of seeing women do the "I'm just a girl" act, you probably don't want to watch it. And it's interesting to me because she's in the spaces like there's so many. I know I'm just ranting now, but it's just really interesting how people like Pearl would showcase women like her. And Sadia is not on OnlyFans, but they would showcase a lot of like OnlyFans women and like women that were scantily clad because they knew that's what got the attention. They knew it. And, Sadia has also been on Soft White Underbelly several times. I'm not a fan of Marcoleta. I'm not surprised that those 2 have hooked up and decided to make regular content over and over again. Thank you, Emma. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Set notifications to all if you want to see more of her. Mr. Carey, that's funny. Okay. Well, does anybody have any comments? I feel like I've just been like talking a lot at you guys. And my hair is drying funny because I put avocado oil in it. I need to stop touching it. When I do watch on the replay and I'm like touching my hair, it bothers me. So I understand if it bothers you, and I'm sorry. It's the kind of thing that I'm like, if somebody else was doing it, I don't think it would bother me, but seeing myself, I don't know. Lydia doesn't have to show her tithes. Well, GH, I got through my script. I was talking about Sadia Khan, and I already got all my script about Sadia done. Basically, she's fraudulent when it comes to credentials, called herself a psychologist, and is making money doing online engagements and in-person engagements too. And I'm sure, like, she people aren't giving her $8,000 and not getting anything out of it ever. I did see one video where there was, like, women that were saying, "Oh, she's so great." They went to see her speaking engagement or something, but, in my opinion, it's just clear, like, it is mostly men, and it's the males that she's catering to, and I don't mean that, like, everything she's saying about women is wrong. She does say a lot of things, hard truths about women, and a lot of it's like pure projection on her part because she hasn't done the work. She needs to do the shadow work. She needs some Jungian psychology in her life. She should be like reading the he and she books because somebody like that, she's like so far gone and lost in herself in her own little world. It's gonna take a while to like reel her back in, see any perspective outside of like this life she's been living. Only a spoiled brat could get away with even attempt to act the way that this woman does. It is unreal. And to turn around and have no shame. But supposedly you come from this background where your father and brother might hurt you because you're causing them so much shame. So, Jay Hardy, self awareness is important. I think you're doing great. Thank you, Jay Hardy. I think I don't know, I almost feel like stopping this live and then maybe doing a book reading of this because, I don't know, I just feel like reading from it, and I wanna read it with you guys, and I already got done with my Sadia script, and I really want to try to make more videos like this, like an edited video. It's just really hard to film besides after bedtime for my son, and that's like I feel kind of sleepy, but then I get on here and start talking to you guys and I feel more awake. But anyways, does anybody else have anything else they want to talk about before I get off of here? Nigeria is a country we love it. Hi, Peter Perez. I remember you. How are you doing? I'm doing well. I had a good day. There was tons of rain yesterday. It rained for like 3 hours straight. And I noticed so many little baby pumpkins, baby pumpkins of all sizes. But like, I am very excited about my pumpkin patch. I'm just trying not to put all my eggs in a basket and like get super disappointed if I walk out there and they're all like ate up by deer. But I think that they'll be okay. Cooler weather? Yes, Peter. Yeah, it was cooler today. Still plenty enough warm in the sunlight. Now you guys are better, Yoder said. Well, guys, I think I am gonna go, but I'm gonna log back on soon and do a few more chapters from this book. I highly recommend this book. I'm trying to be better about not talking so much like during the actual reading because I'm trying to make it good for people listening to it on the playback because I don't expect people to listen to lives after the fact. I love it that a handful of people do, but like I know lives are really for being live together, right? Good night, Peter. Kentucky fresh tomatoes were rough this year in northern Kentucky. Oh, that sucks. I love tomatoes so much. I didn't grow any because I had a surgery and the only things I grew besides flowers are cucumbers and zucchini. Jay Hardy, thank you. You're so nice. Um, I hope I see you in my next live, not because I'm hoping you're there to give me more money, but I hope that if you are into this book, you listen to it. And yeah, I think I just want to leave on this note. Thank you so much, Jay Hardy. You there's always hope. Like, everything that bad that can happen to a person, I look at this in mental and physical health. Most everything bad that can happen to a person, like our bodies are constantly regenerating. And I like to look at the mind like that. Like you might have to retrain it in certain aspects, but like neuroplasticity, especially, is amazing. Like our brains, they don't know hardly anything besides like we can make some pretty big workarounds. No matter what trauma, no matter what has happened to you in your life, there is hope. There is ways to undo most things that make somebody have issues in their life with relationships, especially relationships with significant others, if that is what you want. I don't think just because I'm a married woman, that means everybody and their brother needs to be married as well. But I think there's a lot of people, and they call it the male loneliness epidemic. There's a lot of people that would like to have a partner that do not. And it always is a good idea to start from within and get to the root of the problem, which is yourself. I, as a child, saw my parents get divorced, and then I saw my mother move on to my stepdad and do the exact same things and make the exact same mistakes, have the exact same patterns. And that's why when times have gotten hard in my own marriage, I have, said to myself and my husband, like, we need to work on this. Like, this needs to be fixed because, like, it's, for us or for the next person. Like, I'd rather do it for you, I'd rather work on this and make it work with you than separate from you and still have the same things to work on because nobody's perfect, right? And but yeah, a lot of this projection, just pointing the finger, talking about the opposite sex, like without going into the psychology of like the inner battles that the opposite sex endures and rites of passages and stuff like that. Uh, it does no good, and it's actually doing a lot of harm, and it's hurting a lot of people, and on top of it, to take money from them, hard-earned money from people in these times. But I'm sure nobody's walking around with $8,000 to give her that. I mean, who knows? You never know somebody's situation. I could see some desperate guy obsessing and like scrounging, selling most of what is worth anything that he owns and getting $8,000 together. There was a man that he spent six figures of his parents' money on women online, like webcam girls. And it's like a murder case because I'm pretty sure he offed his parents because he was trying to get more money or something. Like, it's just, it's horrible. Actual mental health therapists too, like actual professionals. I'm not trying to paint a picture like they're all dandy just because they are professionals. I saw yet another detransitioner story today. Once again, I think people should be able to live their lives however they want, but I just can't help but recognize that every single detransitioner story I've ever heard involves a therapist telling a minor what they are. Telling it, "Oh, I think you're this." It's never a person that was like Jazz Jennings, like, my whole life, and even that, don't get me started on that. I don't think Jazz Jennings was genuinely walking around 2 or 3 years old the way that Jazz Jennings' mom says they were, but, like, it's just, like, not that, like, I always knew I was in the wrong body. It's like, I'm having a tough time, I go to therapy, and they're like, "Oh, okay, I put all this in, like, I think you might be this." And so, like, that it's just so scary. That's the influence that somebody like that can have over another person's life. And I put my life in doctors' hands before I knew better. I mean, sometimes you have to, right? You have to. But like a lot of people do, and way too, like, just like disregard any of their own instincts, intelligence, ability to do the research themselves. And it's just, we need to stop doing that. Oh, hey, no sage. How are you? I don't believe in divorce, but that's not even divorce consummation makes it real. Kentucky Fresh, that's how I feel. We have 3 kids. No sage, you're not married, then get it annulled, not worth it. Okay, now I see what you're saying too, no sage. Kentucky Fresh had got married 3 years ago. We still haven't had sex yet, done the books, the counseling and church route. Nothing is changing. Kentucky Fresh, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's why I'm staying, been together for 12 years. Um, you got married 3 years ago, but you've been together for 12 years. How do you have kids? We didn't do it for a year before we were married. So you were doing it for like 8 years and then you haven't for the last four. Am I getting that right? And I'm sorry to be so blunt, but like since you're saying it, hey, from Pennsylvania, said KK. How are you, KK? Um, no, Sage. Well, I take it back. If you have kids, I have no advice. That's rough. Stay together for the kids, actually. Yes. In Kentucky Fresh, I hope that you're happy in other aspects, but I do feel for you. I really do. Are there, I don't know, I don't want to pry too much. Is there medical reasons? Like, I've heard this from a lot of people, and I'm going to assume you're a male married to a female, but you don't have to disclose that. I've like mentioned this before. There's this woman, the happy wife school, like, I think once again, like, she takes advantage of people without giving, like, real working solutions and just, like, sits there and is like, I'm a horrible piece of shit woman, and I know what it's like to be a horribly selfish woman." I know that's a horrible thing for me to say, but this woman is hell on wheels. And, like, once again, offering no real working solutions, but, like, "Buy my course for $2,000," or, like, "Sign up for my a month of talking to me for 25, $3,500." And it just the comment section of that YouTube channel, there's so many men with the same story. And like, this has to be real. This can't all be trolls. Like, it has to be a commonplace thing. And Kentucky is medical marijuana, if that's what you're talking about. It's wrong for married people not to have sex for the record. Rejecting your spouse is not morally allowed. Not medical, it's maddening. The goal line keeps changing, Kentucky Fresh said. I'm so sorry, Kentucky Fresh. I feel really bad because and I don't want to say it and make you feel worse, you know what I mean? But it's like I think that is important. And like I've been with my husband for 15 years and like I had a hysterectomy in April. I've had 3 babies. Like there's definitely a time when there's gonna be times when you can't for a while, but, like, for years, I don't wanna say anything that could I really feel bad for you, and I'm sorry. I really am. That's tough. I maybe I should try to make content speaking to that woman because it's like they're missing out too. Like it's something that once you, it's like synergistic. Once you get it going, it's like it's like a circle that just keeps coming back around, and it's healthy for both of you. I disagree. I don't either. Been about a year now without, Yoder said. Oh, Anna, you have a lot of medical issues too. Kids in two-parent households have way better outcomes. Divorce is destroying our society, among other things, No Sage said. It's about them, not the happiness of the parents anymore, No Sage said. Yeah, I mean, I think, like, when my parents got divorced, we were so happy. Me and my sister were so happy. My parents were so toxic. So I do understand where you're coming from. If it's 2 functional people and they can hold their household together and be cordial and friendly, amicable, all that good stuff, I do agree with you, No Sage. But I don't think anybody should stay in an abusive situation. And I don't know if I would consider like there's a lot of reasons why one might not be being intimate, and at what point is it withholding, So it's really tough, you have to work it out. It's not medical, just is what it is. It is sometimes for the best for the children, Yoder said. I'm sorry, Anna. Does the Bible say you're supposed to meet each other's needs, has said. I want to say, yes, doesn't I've seen that from people. That's one thing that I think a lot of women are progressing past that. And that's one thing in the red pill spaces. It's funny to me. It's like they should like go like try to hang out in like really super conservative, right-leaning Christian men spaces because they want a woman that is going to be their servant. And like I've seen them say things like, and this is the woman that said this. She's like, all you have to do is turn around and bend over. And it's like, um No, that's absolutely sick. So I don't ever wanna come off as that way either because I think that is so sick. And, like, my husband wouldn't want me to do that. If I'm like, "Okay, for you, I will." He's like, "No, like, if you're not in, no." And, like, that's the way that it should be. And I've heard so many women, these horror stories of women after giving childbirth even. And so it's like, um I have no idea what's going on with Kentucky Fresh, but it's good 3 years of therapy on my end. It's definitely helped on my end. It's definitely withholding on her part, Kentucky Fresh. And I'm glad you've gotten therapy or we're in therapy. I just hope something changes for both of you. Jay Hardy said 14 years, 3 boys separated the last 3 years. I'm gonna win her back. Oh, Jay Hardy, I hope so. We have 3 boys too. Yoder said withholding is sad. Yeah, and when you're together for so long, like years and years and years, like you're gonna have different phases, you know? So I just hope like if if you want it to come back around into that phase that it used to be, it does. No, Sage says 1 Corinthians 7, 1 through 7, spouses are not allowed to refrain from sex or reject one another sexually. Yeah, that's something I think is gotten unfortunately, a lot of women, it's so, being the woman, being the being that, and I don't mean this towards anybody in the chat, it's just like saying it towards the people that like use the Bible as like, um, it is a sign of how women are treated like objects that like people are even okay with that because you're the one that's penetrated, like you're the one that bleeds for upwards of a week, a month. There's like a lot of reasons why a woman chooses not to or should be able to say no, and yeah, ideally, like, you find somebody that is and has the same drive as you, but, like, things are gonna change, like, things change. That's why I think, like, you do love somebody at their core, like, when people say they grow apart, I don't know, I think if you, like, fall in love with somebody and you're with them for years, of course, if they radically change, but, like, most adults don't radically change in their middle age, you know what I you know what I'm saying? The Bible has 2 different ways. If one way doesn't work, another option, Mr. Carey said. What do you mean by that, Mr. Carey? I feel like I read a riddle. Yoder said, "Yeah, well, my husband bought me a new computer and printer, and that was sexy to me." That's good, Yoder. You deserve it. No, Sage, don't get verse 6 twisted. You're allowed to refrain from sex by choosing not to get married. Yeah, it's just like it sounds so good to the man. That's the kind of thing that's like, somebody like me, I do believe there's a lot of truth in the Bible, and I do believe in Jesus Christ and like the main points of his teachings, but I just can't believe that that wasn't written by a man. But like I said, I do understand I do feel for people that are in they call it like dead bedrooms. That's kind of like a cheesy, crappy way of saying it. Like, I do feel uh, because I don't wanna be rude. I feel like I'm being impolite. The purr of that printer and the hum, love is more than I understand. I need a printer. I need to print off the scene exemption form. Kentucky Fresh, at this point, I'm not attracted to her like that anymore. I don't know what to do. Oh, Kentucky Fresh. Did you just find my channel, Kentucky Fresh? Have you seen any of my book readings on this? I don't know if I once again, I know it's annoying when I go live and like I can have this like chat back and forth with the chat every once in a while, but I've been reading out of this and like I was saying, um, I don't know what you mean by that, Hez. I have no idea what you mean by that. With Anna? I would lay down and cuddle with Anna, yeah. Anna, you would cuddle me back, wouldn't you, Anna? I think we've talked about this already before, right? You should never trust a thing that bleeds for a week and doesn't die. LOL, Jay Hardy said. Oh, that's pretty funny. But yeah, I didn't really make my point about what's it called when women get old? Menopause that well. Like we are one of 3 animals on the planet that have menopause. And when people want to make women, particularly religious zealots, not just religious people though, but like when people want to make women seem to be baby making machines, like that's all we're good for. We're one of 3 animals on the planet that go through menopause, and it's an evolutionary trait that we form because we are so valuable because of what mothers and grandmothers offer to their communities, and that doesn't mean you have to be a mother or grandmother. What a woman with decades of life experiences offers to those around her, whether or not she's birthed any babies, is invaluable. We go through menopause, one of three species on the planet, and that proves we're not baby making machines, or we'd be fertile through our end of days. We'd be fertile up until the last day, just like men make sperm up until the last day of their life. They're the baby making machines. They're the ones that were put on this planet to just do nothing but make babies. If you're going to assign that to one of the genders, it's definitely not women. And we're one of three. Gosh, I'm sorry. I forget what the other two were. I want to say one of them's like a dolphin or something like that. It might be elephant. And it's like these really wise creatures too. I'm not kidding. And it's really funny to me that so many people attribute women to just like purely baby making machines when we the matriarchs of the family literally are like the glue that holds a family together. Not to say men aren't important, because like I always would say, the reason I could stay at home is because of my husband. The reason I could focus on my older two kids and homeschool them, and now my younger son and homeschool him, is because of my husband. He might not be doing all of it, but I wouldn't be able to either if he wasn't going to work and paying for everything. So we could. And I would even tell my sons that, like, we're together right now because daddy's working hard. I'd always make it a point to be like, because I'd almost feel bad for him, especially when you're going out and doing all this fun homeschool field trip activity stuff. Daddy's working right now, so we can do this because your dad goes to work every day and has a good work ethic. We can do this. And once again, like lower income, 10, 15 years ago, I wouldn't have called myself low income, even though we, looking back on it, we kind of were. But you know what I mean? This is when we still had somewhat of a middle class. I am abiding by YouTube policy. No Sage. What duties do women have to men? No Sage asked. Well, see, this is how I look at it, No Sage. I wish that we could go from a patriarchy to oh my gosh, a matriarchy. And matriarchy doesn't center around women, they center around children and community. And I think that's what women are really supposed to offer. And that's not to say that part of their community isn't a husband sometimes or a boyfriend, significant other. Women offer so much to everybody around them. And I think that duties is a heavy word, you know? I'd say their duty is to become a whole healthy woman, because then they'll be at their most able, and a woman does so much in her lifetime, or can. Yoder, support him and stand by his side. Jay Hardy, I'm about to share this with my estranged wife, who think still loves me. Oh, Jay Hardy, hmm. I mean, she still loves you. You have three sons together. There's always going to be love there, right? Like, I'm sorry. I know how much that hurts. Though, when me and my husband were separated for 13 months, I mean, it was like I just found out somebody passed away like every day. I lived in a neighborhood where we had an apartment in when our first son was like 18 months old and 3 years old. And I remember like driving, I remember feeling so physically bad when I drove by this one street sign that I was like in awe of it. And I'm like, This has to be physically damaging to my heart because like I feel it." And yeah, and we decided to make it work. And I have a past where we weren't forced apart, but let's just say we were almost kind of forced apart. Like one day I'll talk about that. Okay. I have not had a perfect marriage. I have not been a perfect wife at all. At all. I actually have like a criminal background technically because of it. I wasn't charged with anything. And I say I don't have to put this stuff out there. And it's like, and one day I look at it as like the kind of problems you like to have. Somebody figures out my full name and they're like, oh, look, she got arrested one time. I'd rather that already be out there. Nobody knows shit about the sugar babe shit. Like I really don't think there's any proof of that anywhere. But like once again, I'm an open book. And like that's why I saw so many people on YouTube just sharing their life experiences. And I'm like, man, I could do that. I have no filter. I think it's because I'm neurologically atypical. I've never been diagnosed with anything, but like, come on. It's not that hard to discern. And no Sage, what are women's duties to men? You didn't answer my question. You said women are supposed to become whole women. That is a non-answer. I don't think women have duties to men specifically, no Sage, except for their husband. Is that what you're saying? Like and even then I wouldn't say there's duties outside the parameters that they set for themselves in their relationship. No sage, chill, Yoder said. Yeah, I'm not religious, no sage. I think I made that clear. Like, I do believe in the Bible and Jesus somewhat. But Yoder said, I wipe my husband's ass when he throws out his back. There, that is what a wife does. Mr. Carey, I had to do that for my mom when I was in high school. Oh, Mr. Carey, you're being a caretaker in high school. Jay Hardy, practically a criminal. ADHD, affluent. Yoder, Mr. Carey, me too. My mom was disabled when I was growing up. Oh, no wonder you guys are such sweet people. And I've told Mr. Carey and Anna both things about my marriage, both like I've told them both things about me. If they really were out to get me, like, they would have spilled the beans or said something by now. It was funny, and the girl was in my chat going off the other night, who some Aaron put her full name in a YouTube video. Oh my gosh, he is such a creep. He's such a creep. This mother with a child, but it turns out she had, like, doxed his son. So anybody that's like, I just feel like there might be like one or two or three people that were there and might be here right now. But like, that video got taken down. That's what she was like freaking out about. I was being so nice to her, spent time on the phone with her, and like, yeah, she said that she thought Anna might be AI. And I'm like, Hannah is not AI. Okay. I saw her. Good night, HK. I hope you sleep well. Love you. And yeah, Anna's not AI for sure. And between that and then the way she freaked out, I was reminded of like, wow, every once in a while, I'm reminded of what it must be like for men to deal with women. And I say that I feel like I'm placating to hurt men, but it's true. Every once in a while, when a woman is like, man, like, oh my gosh, like this is why there's so many podcasts talking about modern women and like the bad attitude. And like I've said, I've seen it too. I've had women that were like nasty and just rude for no reason. And I always say to my husband, I have to prove myself. Or like, there's a new woman at work. I wonder if I'm going to have to prove myself to her. And generally, now that I'm 38, if it's a woman in her 20s, with few exceptions, there are exceptions. And I always think like maybe, they might be extremely anxious. I try not to take shyness a certain way. But, anyways, usually younger women are cool with me. I don't have to prove myself to them. Just like, oh, it's exhausting being a woman. It really is. It's exhausting. One time I left that in a comment on a YouTuber's video talking about women's cycles and like when the best time to have sex with them is. It was a man, and it was a really good video. But like, he was talking about our hormones the whole time and our cycles. And all I said was, it is exhausting to be a woman. That's all I said. And I got piled on within 15 minutes. I was like piled on. And when I look at like hurt men who attack women online, it's because they've had to deal with so many women like that. I just wish that they could have the perspective that a lot of women's bad attitudes also come from like having to deal with horrible men. How 91% of violent crime is committed by men, and women like end up putting up this big like aggressive front sometimes when they've had to deal with it a lot, especially in big cities. Uh, oh, thank you, Yoder. Oh, gosh. I don't know about all that. Lydia told me Anna an email allegedly she sneaks oatmeal pies in the house and eats them all. Oh, I see why you said that about oatmeal pie. Kentucky Fresh, I hope you have a good night. If you're still here, I hope you sleep well and good luck to you. I really appreciate everybody's vulnerability when they do that. Jay Hardy said, you need someone handled. I know a guy. Well, Skipper, no, you obviously haven't been listening very long. No. Oh dear. But yeah, I was very, very fortunate to have grandparents. I feel like my grandparents and their relationship saved me. They have some good examples of good marriages through my grandparents, and that stability that they provided really did save me. One set of grandparents weren't even related to me by blood. They were half siblings grandparents, and we spent every weekend with them for years and years of my life. While my parents partied back at home. And that's a big part of the problem when you're taking like heavy, mind altering substances often. Like that usually isn't a person with good coping skills. And if you can't cope with everyday life or with acute situations well without taking substances, like that's obviously a sign of a not very healthy person. Therefore, you're not going to have healthy relationships. But yeah, I like to look at it like I learned a lot, and one reason why I can be so happy is because I took all my trauma and turned it into good, and I was an excellent mother. My 18 and 15-year-old sons are proof of that. I have an 8-year-old who's nonverbal. That gets tough sometimes, but I still think he's doing as well as he is, because we're his parents, and I'm proud of that. And yeah, I really look forward to reading some of this. Now I'm like getting a lot of viewers kind of out of nowhere. I had like 10 viewers in here now. It got up to 50 something. But I already got done with my script, which was talking about Sadia. If you guys are in here for that, I wrote a script I'm pretty proud of, but in short, I believe she is fraudulent. She doesn't have a real psychology background, and she's probably laundering money from her sugar daddies, in my opinion. And it's not a healthy way to be or a healthy thing to promote. Low key, if it's low key. Yoder, the only thing I can assume or think of the AI thing is that I kept calling Aaron out left and right. He blocked me. Then that woman thought I'd be her friend and attacked Titus, so she groomed Henson. Jay Hardy said, I think you're crushing. Crushing on who? Oh, Anna, I didn't see you answer me, but you would cuddle, right? I know. I know. So people don't understand how women are. Like, if you're not a woman, men, you don't understand what it's like to be a woman. And like, I think it's somebody I was watching was talking about how Taylor Swift and what's her Blake Lively, they're always like on top of each other, holding hands and stuff. And they're like, oh, I can't stand it when women do that. Why do grown women have to like be on top of each other like that? And I was like, "Mm." I wouldn't be on top of somebody that didn't want to cuddle or something, but like, it's just nice. Uh, Probably cuddle and cry with you. It's just nice to be able to be close to somebody and it be non-asexual, like, and I think that's some men are missing out on that. I'm not saying all men have to have that, but in an ideal world, it would be more okay to hold hands with your guy that's a friend. I know that's like so out there for men who have been taught, being a woman, being GAY, being the person who's penetrated, I don't know, it's like the worst thing in the world to be because, I have to say it, I have to say the word one time in this life because of internalized misogyny in us all, not just men, but women too. Homer, dude, how are you? Billy Clancy, what is up with everybody coming in here now? I want to read from this book, guys. If I log off of here and start a new live, I hope that I see some of you back in here. But I mean, only if you're interested. I feel bad when people pop in right as I'm saying goodbye. But let me see. I want to read chapter 5. I'm sorry, I did read chapter 5. Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. When I was in Nepal, it was common to see men holding hands as friends, Skipper Jones said. And Yoder said, yes, Skipper. Oh, that's nice to know, Skipper. Well, good. So there are some cultures where people can like be normal and like, socialize. And I know that like one of my friends growing up, we never dated, we never kissed or anything, but like we would hold hands. It was a guy friend of mine, and it was just really sweet. Like, connect with somebody. I think like grounding is good for you with the earth. Well, like touching another human being that you care about is also good, like in an energetic level. My 7-year-old son loves holding hands, Jay Hardy said. That's so sweet. Yeah, my 8-year-old does too. And I noticed today, I'm like, gosh, your hand is almost as big as mine. He's getting so big. And his feet, I'm like, what are these feet? Like, grown big boy feet. That age, and they like go like the 8 to 10, like, oh, it's just such a big growth period. In Kenya, the men are very loving too with each other. Oh, that's good to know. I'm glad you guys are telling me this. I didn't know that. Homer, doing okay. Thanks for asking. How are you doing? I'm doing well, Homer. I've been a stay-at-home parent officially the last 2 days, and it's been going well. Mr. Carey, also guys smacking bottoms at football games and baseball too, Lydia. Oh yeah, that's I think that's one way that guys do show like some bit like physical affection, but trying to be like manly about it. Homer said, hello, Mr. Carey. Billy Clancy, I have friends who've had bad days. It's okay to give someone a hug or a pat on the shoulder and words of encouragement. That's good. I'm so glad to hear all of this. That's the way things should be. We're social beings, right? And it's important to have people in your life that you feel like support you. Okay. Is anybody gonna come back? Even if nobody comes back, it's gonna be like a smooth reading. I'm gonna try to do one chapter because I said I want to get through this book this week. And here we are on Thursday. But yeah, Skipper asked if you had an odd childhood. Oh, thanks for telling me that. I totally now I want to see like where he asked it. I wouldn't say odd. My I was really, really poor. I remember, like, I didn't know what it was like to buy brand new anything until my mom got with my stepdad, even underwear. We'd, like, get underwear from yard sales, and, like, looking back on that, I'm like, we have never been oh my gosh, I don't wanna make fun of anybody, but you know what I mean, like, um, I didn't care about it at the time, but when I was an older child, it was like it made me feel bad or whatever, but, um, I didn't know how poor I was. I guess that's, my parents did a good job. We had good family. My family saved me, came from a really, really big family. I had really good grandmas. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that, right? Their grandmas being their rock. I'm sure being a stay-at-home mom is going to be an adjustment from the daily work schedule to whatever you want, basically. No. Yeah, you think that, Homer dude, but I think it's easier to work on a factory 10-hour shifts where I commute 15 minutes there and 15 minutes back. It's like I wake up at 6:30, it's like bus stop, it's the dogs, it's the chickens, it's then the little one gets up and it's still the dogs, the chickens, and it's constant. And like I cook a lot, so if you cook, then you make a meal, you have to clean the kitchen. You make a meal, you have to clean the kitchen. I clean the kitchen like 3 or 4 times a day, it seems like. And I told my husband I forgot how much work being a stay-at-home parent was. I, like, sincerely did. It was less than 18 months since I was at home full time. Yeah, I just quick blurted that out and hoped she'd see it. Okay. I did answer, yeah, my parents did not have a healthy relationship, I would say. But, yeah, if you do it right, like, I know there's probably some lazy at-home parents, but, like, a lot of people, like, do assume that, like, there's free I didn't sit down at all, and then I sat down and I closed my eyes, and I swear it was less than a half hour. I don't fall asleep, I don't nap. I can't nap. I literally have to be on my deathbed to nap during the day, so, like, please don't think I'm, like, falling asleep on my 8-year-old nonverbal child, I'm not. But, like, I closed my eyes and I opened, and he was literally, like, 2 feet from me, just, like, staring into space. I'm so sorry, babe. I got up and made a cup of coffee. I was like, oh my gosh, as soon as I sat down, it was like fatigue. Um, but yeah, that was the one time I sat down today besides car rides. We did go to the store. Um, we got some really cheap fast food. There's a restaurant. I'm really giving away my location if I say it, but whatever. It's like common around here. Like, got a snack for me and my two sons for $7.40. How many places can you do that? But somewhere in South Central Kentucky, fast food. Robot homestead would be cool. What are the things you find important in your 20s, but now you think are a waste of time? Oh, that's a good question. Definitely the materialistic things. Like it's important to save money. I wish I would have saved money, but I wish I would have like spent less money on frivolous shit, stuff that I don't even have right now. And I'd ask my grandparents more questions and spend more time with my grandparents. Don't make me cry. I just wish I would have asked them things. Like, if any of you are blessed enough to have your grandparents, any elderly people in your life, like, ask them questions before they're gone. While they're still coherent and they can answer them. I have so many questions now as a mother, especially. I wish I would have asked my grandmas. I don't even know what my favorite grandma's beliefs in God, on God were I know my other grandmas, they were very Christian, very Lutheran. My mom's mom, we like did like this group baptism at her funeral. I have the program for her funeral. One day I will get that out and like the scripture because one day I did look up all the scripture in it. It's like everything that you would say if you were trying to like ensure that your loved ones are going to go to heaven, that they believe Jesus Christ is their Lord and Savior, died on the cross for them and all that stuff. And like, they had us repeat it. It was I mean, I thought that was sweet. And I love my grandmas. I just wish that she would have talked to me about Jesus Christ more during her life. Honestly, she didn't. She never even said, like, Jesus loves you, or like, I just want you to know God loves you. And I think she was being respectful because I'm sure my parents, maybe not. I don't know what's going on with that. It's sad. It's like we like got far away from God, all of us. And that's not good. Oh, thanks, Hammer, dude. I'm letting it dry, but I put avocado oil in it because okay, so I'm gonna have a members only live this Saturday, and I'm thinking about cutting my hair while I'm on the live because I think that just might be fun. Like we can have a fun talk and you can see me cut bangs, right? And then maybe if it's like really funny, I'll like unprivate it or I'll make it available for everybody later, like weeks or months later, whatever. Who's asking about my undergarments? I we can talk about, adult things, but, yeah, when it comes to stuff like that, no. I only have one grandma left alive, but she's Mormon and tells me I need to convert so I can run my own planet when I die. LOL, Yoder said. Oh my gosh, yeah, I mean, sorry to hear that. Is that the grandma you were telling me about, Yoder? You told me about her, right? Tala said, "What are your belief in God?" I believe that there is a God. I think it's more like we are, um Oh, thank you, Jay Hardy. I do believe in the God that the Bible talks about, that the God that all holy books talks about. I think it's all the same, and I think we're all connected. And I think when we pass away, at least part of our soul goes back to the same source. And I do kind of believe in reincarnation, or I lean towards that. But never say never. Like I'm open. I saw this one person, it was sweet. They're like doing this, like they became Christian, and it's like day one is a Christian, day two is a Christian, day three is a Christian. I thought that was really sweet and stuff. Like I definitely wouldn't ever put my journey out there like that, but I'm not saying I would never call myself a Christian. It kind of like always sitting around waiting for that moment. Like people talk about Lydia. Someone asked if you have a bra and it has nothing to do with the love. Um, I got it back on out of here. Good night. Listen to what you said. It makes a lot of sense. Oh, thank you, Billy. That's so sweet. I'm glad that you listened. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to sign off up here and then start this. And if you don't mind listening to me read for a few minutes, then we can chat again after the read. But I am going to focus on like reading the book, make my little commentary because of the copyright stuff. But I'm going to try really hard not to like interact with the chat for people in the replay. I just think this work is so important and it can help so many people. And I don't know, maybe I should, like, try to do some edited videos with it too, even if they're not monetized. I take mine off when I get home, Mr. Carey said. Grandma says aliens came down, got Mary pregnant. That's when I just say, okay, Grandma, I love you. Goodbye. Thank you, Jay Hardy. I really appreciate all your support. It really does mean a lot to me. Times are tough for everybody nowadays and everything. I really appreciate your support. I'm going to sign right back on. Seriously, I'll be back on here by 11 o'clock. Okay, it's 10:53 right now, my time. So give me 5 minutes. Love you guys. If I don't see you, I hope you have a great night and I hope I see you again soon. Um, I'm sorry, Amelia. Now I want to answer Amelia's question. What are you asking about, Amelia? You're not the one that asked the question about undergarments. I don't see your question, Amelia. I will be back on. I'm not supposed to believe in reincarnation. I just hope I don't ever come back as a lima bean, like Clancy said. Good work, said Jay Hardy. Thank you, Jay Hardy. On that note, I'll be right back. Love you guys.